It's night 2 of our movies, music, and more trivia. But as you can see, I'm wearing the same shirt, sitting in the same place. I look exactly the same. So, what does that tell you? It tells you I sat in this chair right here for 24 hours, waiting for you to come back. That's how dedicated I am to this series. And it's time to move into our third round, which is going to be about television. Yay. Number 1. In Bewitched, what simple movement does Samantha do to practice her magic? And number 2, what is the phrase on the UFO poster in Fox Mulder's office in The X-Files? Number 3, how does Charlie Harper die in 2.5 Men? Now this one, during our live trivia, was a little bit of a, there was a little bit of controversy here because in the show, the character Charlie Harper seemingly dies at the end of, I think it's season 9, and then it turns out in the final episode he wasn't really dead at all. But then he dies again at the end of the final episode. Spoiler alert if you haven't finished 2.5 Men yet. So we're looking for the answer of how he died the second time at the end of the series, how he really died. Number 4, what was the name of the family dog on the Brady Bunch? This one is not controversial at all. It's just the dog's name. And finally, The Andy Griffith Show was a spinoff of what sitcom starring Danny Thomas? There are actually 2 answers for this one because in the 4 years that the show is on the air, it had 2 different names. So if you give either one of those, you get the points. And let's find out how many points you get right now. In Bewitched, what simple movement does Samantha do? She twitches her nose. And what does Fox Mulder's poster say in The X-Files? It says, I want to believe. And how does Charlie Harper really die at the very end of 2.5 Men? A piano fell on him. And what is the name of the Brady Bunch's dog? That would be Tiger. And finally, The Andy Griffith Show was a spinoff of what sitcom? Make Room for Daddy or The Danny Thomas Show. They changed the name of the show during its original run. Very odd. Apparently, the Danny Thomas character got pulled over by Sheriff Taylor, and that was the introduction of that character. Round 4 is about a different kind of media, social media. Here we go. The first social network launched in 1997. What was its name? And I'm going to give you a hint here because this is a very obscure question. I've never heard of this social network before, but the hint is a popular game featuring Kevin Bacon. Number 2, what demographic was Facebook originally targeted toward? You know, their ambitions were not quite so world-dominating when they first started. Who was it that they wanted to ensnare? Number 3, what was the very first video posted on YouTube in 2005 by its co-founder, Jawad Karim? We looked this up. This video has 109 million views as of August 20th. Number 4, an app called Peekaboo was launched in 2011, but its name was later changed to something much more familiar. What is it called now? Ignore that question mark, that first one. It's not really a question. But what is this app? And finally, which social media platform introduced the hashtag in 2007? So that first social media network that launched in 1997 was called, see, I thought the first one was maybe like Friendster or something like that, but no, it was 6degrees.com. So 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Number 2, what demographic was Facebook originally targeted toward? That was college students. Number 3, what was the very first YouTube video posted in 2005 by its co-founder? Me at the zoo. It's just Jawad at the zoo talking to the camera. Kind of like I'm doing right now. Except I'm not at the zoo. The app that was originally called Peekaboo would later change its name to Snapchat. And finally, which social media platform introduced the hashtag? That would be Twitter. And that would be the end of our second night of movies, music, and more trivia. We'd love for you to tell us how you're doing in the comments, what your score is, and we've got one more night of trivia coming up tomorrow. See you then. Will I change my shirt by then? We'll find out.